Okay, Rich, so what are we playing this week then?
So this week we're going to attempt to complete Batman the movie for the Atari ST. So this is kind of an important release over here. It was made to coincide with the movie, and the makers, Ocean, they sort of made a deal with Commodore to make it a pack-in title for the Amiga 500. And this pack-in actually resulted in the Amiga 500 really taking off in Britain and becoming like a mass market sort of format for gaming over here. Now, this is the Atari ST version, and this is actually the original. So the aforementioned Amiga version is actually just a rush port of this game, basically, which was quite common at the time because of the two sharing a CPU and not having a massive user base at the time. So have you got any experience with the game at all?
I actually have never played the game, and ironically enough, I am wearing the t-shirt today. I don't know why it came like that, but it just did. Never had any experience in the game, not even seen the movie it's based on. So this is going to be interesting.
Do you want to go for it then?
Yeah, let's go.
So the game is obviously influenced by Bionic Commando a little bit. So yeah, you can't actually jump in the game, but you've got a grappling hook which allows you to sort of grapple onto the platform above and climb up. If you hold up,
okay.
If you hold up and press the fire button, you fire off this grappling hook, and you can use it to sort of snipe people on the edges sometimes as well.
Right.
So if you can sort of fire it diagonally and knock people off platforms. But yeah, so the health bar is the face at the bottom there. It goes from Batman to the Joker. It sort of changes and it goes down, and then you die when it's at the bottom, obviously. So yeah, just hold up and it climbs up like that. Sometimes it's wise to stay underneath these little roofing sections as well, because they protect you. The overhangs kind of in these little alcoves like this, and you can diagonally hit this dude with the grappling hook if you do it
comes close enough.
To cancel the grappling hook, you have to press the fire button again. That's it.
What hit me?
The grappling hook grabbed hold and you slammed into the ground and died.
I can't have slammed. I was standing on the ground.
You had very, very little health.
So basically, if somebody breathed on me, I would have died.
Yeah, you can sort of miss out a section here if you do this bit right. Oh, didn't notice that.
Huh?
So falls into the acid vat, just like in the movie. It does follow the film. So the next level is a racing level. So you've got a time limit. You've got to worry about your time limit. You've got to worry about missing your turns, because there are turns. The arrows will tell you to make a turn. And the turns in this game, what you do is you press the fire button, it fires out a grappling hook, which hits the lamppost and turns you around the corner.
Okay.
If you miss the turn 3 times, the whole thing's life is gone, basically. So push forwards. That's it. You've got your distance, 99.8 at the moment. So that's how far you've got until the end of the level. You got your timer down here.
Oh shit.
Your health bar's the same as it always was, so the car takes damage and it just shows up on the health bar. And you've got your arrow, so your arrow's telling you to go left. So when you get to a lamppost, press it. Slow down, really slow down. You've lost.
I turned.
You didn't hit any lamppost.
But... Okay.
We're going to have to do a playthrough where I just explain how the game works, I think, because it's just too many different styles and for Chris to just pick up on the fly.
Yeah.
You don't have to speed this bit up. You don't have to do it fast or anything.
I see.
That is one of the most dangerous things in this level. Missing the turning 3 times is basically an instant death. So take it quickly on the first one, but if you miss the first 1 or 2, slow down and just take the third one incredibly slow, because you don't want to miss the third turning, basically.
Right.
Done. Right, so the next mini game is basically a puzzle. It's one of those combination puzzles where you choose a bunch of things and it tells you how many are correct. And then you choose another bunch of things to tell you how many correct. You've got to work out which ones are the right ones.
Yeah, I get that.
Again, it's from the movie as well. Okay, so we lost one there. So
What?
the blue one is definitely one of the right ones.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, that's it.
That was easy.
Yeah, you only get like a minute to do it and then you lose a life. So, did you want to try this bit?
So what's this bit?
So you've got to take out the balloons. Basically, you have to go between the balloon and the base that it's tied to. So you've got to take out the ropes holding the balloons up.
Because I'm flying now.
Yeah. So travel at about 130 miles an hour, I'd say. Try and keep it about.
Am I going all right? Yeah.
You're going at 77 miles an hour, but you're
good.
doing the right thing.
Missed that one.
Yeah. When you miss them, I think it does you damage as well.
Shit. Oh, fuck. I'm going too fast.
Yes, the game does sort of follow the movie quite well. It does show most of the scenes from the film, and the developers actually had access to the set as well because Batman was actually filmed in Britain. It was filmed in Pinewood Studios, so they did actually give them, material on what was going to happen on the film and such. Not as much as they would have liked from the sound of things, because I think they said they had trouble getting pictures of the Batmobile and stuff. But it sort of comes out in the game. Sort of nice to see it follow the movie,
Oh shit.
You're on fire. I don't mean that in a good way. You've got 30 seconds left now, and you're only halfway there.
Oh, shit. Yep, balls to the wall. I can't get over there. Well, I got halfway.
If anyone's wondering, Chris went partying yesterday as well. That's why his voice is quite croaky.
I would like to quantify that by saying he's talking bullshit and I've got hay fever and it's affecting my throat quite badly.
Likely story.
But I suppose it's useful in one way because I can say I'm Batman. Wow.
Tell all your friends about me.
Oh God, no.
Drink them. Stand where that candlestick there is, and then fire diagonally right and push up. That's it. Now run across this because the platform's going to disappear.
I'm trying to get off.
So the people who worked on this, obviously they made a lot of games for Ocean, but I think one of them actually went on to make Sega All-Stars Racing as well, which was quite a good Mario Kart alike that came out a few years ago.
Good game.
Yeah, it's good. I quite like it. I mean, obviously we both quite like Mario Kart anyway, don't we?
Oh, I hate that section.
This is the last level, by the way.
Oh, great.
But we ain't got no lives left. Bit of a dick move on his part, isn't it? That's the end. Yeah, we know. Yeah, the game doesn't look bad really for an Atari ST game, I'd say.
I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, the Atari ST wasn't great for 2D games, really. I mean, it had trade-offs with the Sega Master System even, so these sections are going to sort of be graphically the weakest sections, I guess.
I think they're quite tight though, aren't they? They're quite
They're not
precise.
bad. This looks pretty good actually as well for 1989 for this type of game, this type of scaling racing section. A lot of the magazines were quite impressed with the way this looked.
And you're there.
Yeah, I will admit actually I'm a big fan of the Tim Burton Batman movie, and I do prefer it to the Christian Bale ones, which is sort of considered sacrilege these days, I think. But I just love the atmosphere and the music of them, really. I think from the perspective of art design, they're just fantastic. They're sort of all gothic artwork, sort of reminiscent of the Hunchback of Notre Dame even at times, with the big cathedral at the end and such, and all of the gothic artwork. I'm dead.
No, you're not. You land on somebody. Oh,
Oh, it's a shame.
you need to swing further.
Yeah, I fucked it up the swing in there.
Shame you can't use it while in midair.
Yeah, it's a less dynamic game than Bionic Commando, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's more, but I'm not a hater of that entirely for the sake of it. This is sort of a more methodical game, and more sort of about stealth and being careful, you know, and using the grappling hook for sort of stealth gameplay sort of works as well, I think. But I mean, it is more limited than Bionic Commando, isn't it? Unfortunately. I'm not sure what I want to do with this dude.
Gotta let him walk past you.
It took me out. Because when you do a section right, it is quite rewarding when you get through it without taking any damage properly, you know. Like that.
Yeah.
I think the rats can hurt you when you're on a rope. I've seen it in the game. If I fuck up here, then it's all over. Back to midpoint, I think. I don't get why it looks like that there with the roof. Anyway.
Whee. It's a long drop. Splat.
The end of him.
If you miss him, what happens?
You go back to the mid-level point, I think. It was weird though, wasn't it? Because it looked sort of glitchy there.
Yeah.
It looked like bits of the roof were on the ladder. I don't know, maybe say it up on my disc. So what do you reckon? What did you think of the game then? Because you sort of had limited experience with it before.
Presentation-wise, I quite like it. I thought the graphics were quite nice for what the capabilities of the computer actually is. The music as well, I thought, for what its capabilities are,
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It wasn't bad. The cutscenes were nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and all in all, the gameplay was actually quite good.
Yeah, I feel like the gameplay probably isn't as polished as it could have been. But
No.
obviously, during this time period, the Mega Drive was out. They had games like Revenge of Shinobi, Ghouls and Ghosts. They were games that were play tested quite a bit. They had big teams of people working on them, and it does show that this has less play testing, I would say, than that. The first level, I think, goes on for too long. I think the game would be improved simply by cutting the first level into two stages. With the first one easing the player into how to use things, you know, because it just sort of throws the player in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The game uses the Atari ST well, much better than a lot of the other games for this time. You can tell this game was developed for the Atari ST properly. During this time period, a lot of the British companies would just port over their 8-bit games, and they would do sort of minimal amounts of work because these systems, they didn't have a massive user base yet. You know, as I said, even the Amiga didn't have a massive user base until maybe Christmas of 1989, and that was half based on this game
Because of this.
the Batman pack, and all of the hype that was surrounding the Batman movie at the time sold a hell of a lot of Amigas. But this game obviously is designed very well for the Atari ST. It has quite reasonable scrolling in the 2D sections, uses the colours reasonably well.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, the Atari ST can only do 16 colours, like
And that
graphics
was
without
really
tricks.
quite not apparent at all, really, because it was very colourful, the first level.
And the graphics look colourful, and the varied gameplay, you know, is quite a good thing as well.
There's something quite unique to this, really. I haven't really experienced that in any other game, really.
And that works well with film licenses, because like I said before, I think during the gameplay, they can sort of represent different scenes from the movie in different ways that sort of work. So my upsides to this game, my pros are that it uses the Atari ST well, it looks and moves quite well. The racing sections are impressive for the time, the scaling's quite smooth for the time, it's quite good. And for good reason, the magazine's really sort of lauded this effect. And there's a variety of game styles to sort of to keep you interested. I think those are the main good points about the game, really, you know.
Yeah. So what score are you going to give it then?
Well, like I said, this is 1989, so the Mega Drive was just firing all cylinders at the time, really. This is the year the Mega Drive had Revenge of Shinobi, Ghouls and Ghosts, and even Mystic Defender is actually quite good.
Game
really.
after game after game, wasn't it?
And we gave Mystic Defender a 3 out of 5. And in some ways, I feel like there are trade-offs between this and Mystic Defender.
Definitely,
you
yeah.
know? Mystic Defender sort of, I feel, was a bit more polished. It was a longer game as well. It was sort of, but at the same time, less varied, maybe sort of less imaginative as well. This tries to do some things. It tries to be somewhat unique. And of course, there were other Batman the movie games as well, which we have to bring up, which is that Sunsoft actually made their own Batman the movie game for the NES that came out the same year as this. And personally, I'm a big fan of Sunsoft, and I feel like the NES game might play a little bit better than this as well. But still, I feel like it is good. And in fact, when I first decided to do this game, I thought, is this really a 3 out of 5 game? But the more that I played it, the more I think this is actually quite a solid 3 out of 5 game. I think it's quite easily 3 out of 5, but for it to reach 4 would have needed to have been longer, would have needed to be better balanced, and just teach the player how to play the game a little bit more in the first
It does throw you right
stage.
in, doesn't it?
What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, exactly the same. It does need that little difficulty curve just to ease the player in a little easier. You know, it's just so difficult at the start. And as you said, 89, Revenge of Shinobi, one of my favourite games.
Yeah, that's the 5-star game really for this period.
Yeah, and it does blow it out the water entirely. You know, it's easily double that what this game is. Easily. So I think, as you said, kind of solid 3. Okay, guys, that was Batman the movie for this week. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I quite liked playing it. It was a bit more of a struggle than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we had a bit of trouble
unfortunately.
with it, but you know, good in the end. What do you think, guys? Give us a comment. Tell us what you think. Give us a like. It always helps. And we will see you next week with another game. Take care, guys.
See ya.